Hi, I'm Rob from Tune Social LinkedIn Ads Agency, and welcome to this week's CXL feed. So this week we're going to talk about retargeting. So what is retargeting on LinkedIn? So essentially retargeting on LinkedIn is a multitude of different ways that you can use interactions with your LinkedIn ads, with your LinkedIn company page, with your LinkedIn lead forms, video, and even your own company website to your advantage in your LinkedIn ads. What does to your advantage mean? So essentially why retargeting is important is because it actually creates a much more engaged audience than your prospecting campaigns. So it makes sense, right? People who have interacted with your brand before or shown some sort of interest in your brand are more likely to show interest again in your content, especially if the content has been of a certain standard that have kind of captured their attention and they've now become curious about your brand. With most of my clients, nearly all of them, we see this across the board. Retargeting has better CTRs, it has better engagement rates, it has better consumption rates, and it also tends to have much higher activation rates. So that means more leads, more conversions, more people filling out the forms to declare their interest on your site. So how do we use this at Tune Social? So basically for every client, we try and set up retargeting in as many different ways as possible to essentially capitalize on all of the triggers that LinkedIn has given us to be able to create something that's like a funnel, but essentially to bring people through kind of a content and creative journey so that when they reach the point of activation, that we're there and ready to capitalize on that activation. So what I want to talk to you today is a little bit about advanced retargeting and then the segments within retargeting. So within retargeting, there are multiple different segments that you can use. I've seen across hundreds of clients while I've been at LinkedIn and also at Tune Social that people who use the retargeting segments tend to get better results. But not only within using retargeting as a whole, but within the segments themselves, there are better pockets of results for different segments. So if you see here where to find the segments. So first of all, how to set up retargeting. So if you go to audiences, then if you go to create an audience and create a matched audience, this is where you will see all the retargeting segments that are available to you. So you can retarget by people who visited your company page, people who viewed a document, people who've opened a lead gen form or submitted, people who have viewed a video, people who have interacted with a conversation ad, people who have attended an event, engaged with a single image ad, which can also be a thought leader ad, or navigated to your website. So generally, I've kind of ranked these in priority of what I've seen from clients over the years. The best retargeting segment by a mile is the website retargeting segment. So let's take a look at the website retargeting segment for a second. Essentially, within the website retargeting, you can retarget from 14 to 180 days. While the website retargeting is the best segment, also the time difference matters. So people who have visited your website within 14 days are much more likely to interact with ads or potentially engage with your content than people who have engaged 180 days in the past. So generally what I do is I will set up all of these segments anyway, but I will only use the 14 or 30 day segments in terms of activation, and then I'll use the 180 day segments just for general content warming up. So more of a kind of a demand creation segment. So I want to show you a little bit how that looks in practice. So essentially with retargeting, it allows you to build a content funnel. So for my clients, I create a multi-stage approach based on triggers. So a really simple approach that I want to show you is essentially a 4-step approach. So step 1 would be prospecting. So essentially these are people who have not seen your brand before, and you're trying to get these people to engage, view your video, just in general give some sort of trigger that shows that they have noticed your brand. Stage 2 then is that they will fall into your 180-day retargeting, which you will then follow up with more consumption-based content. So content that gives a little bit more about your brand, social proof, customer interviews, customer testimonials, anything that makes people consider the decision a little bit more and kind of you want to really connect them with your brand at this stage. Then in stage 3, you're moving down towards activation. So this is where I would introduce the 14 or 30 day retargeting audiences where you're trying to convert people. And then you can also add another stage, which is stage 4, which I call key actions. So basically anyone who's maybe been to the pricing page but not converted, open a lead gen form but not converted, showed interest in a conversation ad but not converted. So for a really simple retargeting approach for my clients, I would show this 4-step approach. So essentially what you can do is you can set that each of the segments. So you choose out of your most powerful strengths on LinkedIn, which are the segments you're going to use. So for some people it's video, they have podcasts, they have customer testimonials, they have lots of really good video. So video is a retargeting segment they could use alongside with their website. For other people it might be thought leader ads, so then they use single image retargeting option alongside with their website. So in general I choose between 3 to 4 of the retargeting segments that we're really good at and we really are able to engage people with, and I would use these as my key retargeting segments. You can of course set up the rest of the retargeting segments, but sometimes you won't have enough volume to use them as a really useful retargeting segment. And sometimes if you don't have a good company page presence, if people then navigate to your company page and fall into your retargeting segments, they may not be necessarily the right people with the right intent. So while it's great to have all these retargeting options, I'm a big fan of making sure that you're using only the retargeting segments that are showing the best triggers for your business, because down the line that'll mean that you'll have less waste within your LinkedIn ads, which is something that we care a lot about. So what I would say for you to do is to go to your LinkedIn Campaign Manager account and first of all check to see if you have retargeting set up. If you do have retargeting set up, then see if you have all the segments set up. So I would encourage you to set up the segments for all your time ranges, so between 40 to 180 days for website and between 30 to 180 days, or I think even 365 days for some of the other segments, and then also set them up for the functionality within them. So for example, video, you can set that up for people who view 25% to 97% of the video and all of the stages in between. So I would also set up all of those segments in between. So this is something that can be really, really useful for your brand. So what I'd also encourage you to do as a last action is to map out what your really simple funnel might look like. So as I've shown you there with the 4-stage process, map out your stages of the process and all of the content pieces that can fit within, and then think about how you're going to set that up on LinkedIn. The last thing I want to show you is a hidden retargeting segment. So there's one retargeting segment that not many people know about, but for me it's one of the most powerful ones along with website visits, and that's company page followers. So within the company page retargeting segment, you can only do company page visitors. So people who visited your organization or people who clicked the call to action on the header of your LinkedIn page. So both of these can be powerful, but they're not as powerful as the company page segment that I'm about to show you. It's not available in the retargeting segments, but you can find it in a campaign. So if you set up a campaign where you're going to add all your retargeting segments, you can then scroll down. So if you want to add all your retargeting segments, you do it here in audiences, you click retargeting, and then you can add any of the retargeting segments that you've created under the retargeting section. However, our hidden retargeting segment is in audience attributes. So every LinkedIn Campaign Manager account is connected to a company page. Within that Campaign Manager account, you can target the followers of that company page. So company followers of Tune Social, because this is my Tune Social LinkedIn ads account. So essentially, to add to the retargeting segments, I nearly always add company followers of Tune Social LinkedIn ads agency for the 180-day retargeting audience. The reason being is that it's a really powerful trigger. If people have shown to you that they want to follow your company page, that's a really, really powerful trigger instead of a visitor. They've shown intent, they want to see more from you, and potentially they're going to buy from you. So it's not one of the retargeting segments, but I always include it. So what I want you to do is take that bonus tip and create your own funnel and set up all of your different retargeting segments. Run it for a little while and see if you can see any material differences between your prospecting campaigns or your cold campaigns, as some people call them, and your retargeting campaigns, or warm campaigns that some people call them. I'm Rob from Tune Social. This has been a LinkedIn feed on retargeting. Hope you enjoy, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one.